Welcome back to part 2 of 4 with the lateral work, groundwork series with Mindset Equestrian. Common things that I use or common things that I see a lot of. Lateral work is one of the most confusing for most riders. In the first video, we worked on pressure points, how to help move them off the pressure point and reward after to go ahead and get ourselves ready to go for proper reward, like praising and praising ourselves as well. Apparently we did not do a good enough job of moving this left front shoulder, which we'll get to here in this next video. And then we also worked on the amount of pressure. So we almost always start with hair pressure, skin, muscle, and then bone, unless we have something that we need to kind of go ahead and escalate quickly. This video is brought to you by Shady 5 Tack. They are based out of Wilmington, North Carolina. However, they are a tack rental company. You can rent bits. You can rent girths, boots. The boots I'm going to be using on Indy today. Shirts to show in for clinics. Girths, pads, half pads, matchy sets, brow bands, bridles. You can purchase them as well, but renting them is cheaper and easier, and that way you can also find out what works best for you. So thank you from Allie for shooting my tack for sponsoring today's video. I do have code mindset, but if you just let Allie know that I sent you, she'll pick you up, I promise. You can rent them for a week, you can rent them for 2 weeks, you can rent them and then buy them. You can do whatever you'd like, but you will be the most stylish at your horse show, the most stylish at your clinic, and or you get to feel out all kinds of different fits, mouthpieces, cheek pieces, what they kind of like and what they work best in, and change it up if you need to. So contact Allie, Shady 5 Tack. Thanks so much for the sponsorship. Indy is currently sporting the Shady 5 Tack boots that I rented for this week or this video. These are Sparkle Black from HKM, and these are the Purple Escadron. And I thank Allie for letting me rent these boots. And I just put them back in the mail. Super simple. I don't have to wash them. I don't have to clean them. And no, I haven't even washed or cleaned him because I literally was like, hey, before your lesson, can I grab your horse? And Ryan said yes. The number one thing that I think a lot of people misunderstand that I see a ton of is that horses lack a ton of knowledge of whatever in the hell we want to do with them or teach them. And they come out with the pressure that they have mentally themselves, and they go, okay, I read the books, and here we go, I'm going to do it. And the horse is like, do what? What are we doing? What are you doing? You okay? And we don't take into account that they're a living, breathing animal that also has a dominant leg, that also wants to eat or wants to know what the other gypsy vanner out there is doing right now, or maybe wants to take a nap right now. So we have lots of factors that we also need to take into account. So one day your horse might not be acting quite right. And let's, again, take a note of that. Journal it in your Mindset Equestrian journal as well. The number one thing that I also mentioned in the last video is we want the front leg to cross in front of the other front leg, unlike that one, and that is his tail. This is what Indy does that is also very frustrating for his rider because she thinks she's doing something wrong. So we start on the ground and we say, hey, how do I get you to really cross that front leg? There you go, good boy. And we warm him up. Again, I'm hitting that pressure point until he can do that. And if you notice, I did one step at a time, and now we're going to stop for a second, and then I'm going to get back on camera. And we're going to kind of do that both ways. It's really important that we do that both ways. I really appreciate how he's really making me work for these videos today. Good boy. There you go. Thank you. So if I want him to move away from me and do a turn of any kind, I'm not focused on whether or not his back foot is pivoting, meaning it doesn't leave the ground, or if it's picking up and putting down. Right now, what my focus is as his instructor trainer is that if I can ask him to move this leg, will he yield it, and can he cross it in front of the other leg? You notice he still wants to kind of put his weight back on the left front leg. So that's the leg that we kind of really pay attention to, not hyper focus on, not drill, but really focus on. We pay attention to it, right? So I'm also going to ask him the same thing this direction. Can I get you to cross over? And he says, yes, I can cross over. And I've done mixed match boots so you can really isolate one leg versus the other and really see which leg is crossing over. Again, for any lateral, I want a supple horse. He just displayed that he can be supple. Whether he is under saddle or not is a completely different question. So you can do, your carrot stretches, which we actually don't do with this horse. He just follows your hand and hopes that it's going to taste like sugar. And we can do anything else. Like if I want to kind of ask him, hey, will you come around here? I trust that you're not going to kick me. Can I get you to bend around? Light and follow there. That's how I'm going to get him to cross his hind leg. But I trust this horse. If I were doing it with one I didn't know, I would maybe use my stick that's on the ground. Again, I'm going to keep my rope kind of short And I'm just going to aim towards the swirl here and just say, hey, will you cross your hind leg? And he does. What a good job. The hind leg crossing is difficult for a lot of riders and a lot of people as well. Riders, handlers, trainers. One, we don't focus on the hind legs, and two, for whatever reason, those hocks in the back end seem to really baffle a lot of people and or scare a lot of people. So this is the way that I do it so that I feel a little bit safer. Again, I keep the rope kind of short. I want to make sure that he is always either focused straight ahead or at me. Thanks, buddy. Ideally, when I'm asking him to do something, I want his focus straight ahead or slightly flexed towards me. I want to make sure his head follows me. And I'm going to get to where I would to kind of get on. And I'm just going to ask his hind leg to move over. And if you notice, he did 3 strides and then he got a little stumped and he started to back up. And I'm going to say, no, you can do the whole thing. What a good boy. Good job. And then I want to make sure he can do the other side. So I'll start this side too. I have the rope just kind of nicely and short. I'm going to get myself in the position that I know, facing him, that I can get him to kind of move over. I might touch him here if I think he's not going to hit at me. And again, I'm also guiding his nose in. And I'm going to say, hey, can I move you over? And can I maybe move that left hind over? What a good job. Good boy. Can you move over? Good boy. Now, if you notice, he pivoted. I don't think you can see it fully, but that leg stayed very still almost the entire time. That's fantastic. That means he's not marching forward. He's kind of got his balance this direction. So that's just kind of turning around. Now, I want to really isolate this because this is also the gauntlet. Turn on the forehand versus turn on the haunches. Turn on the forehand means we're turning around the forehand. So turn on the forehand means we're turning around the forehand. That means on the ground, I'm going to move his haunches around the forehand. And under saddle, I'm going to get in a position to move his haunches around his forehand. So this is going to be a turn on the forehand. Right now, I am on his left shoulder. We're going to be doing a turn on the forehand to the right, meaning I'm moving his right shoulder around, his right haunches around his left shoulder. So I'm taking the haunches to the right. There you go, good boy. Good boy. Good boy. So he's still pivoting on that right shoulder, and he's not going to now because he got a little braced. So he can make it about 3/4 of the way quite well. That's a turn on the forehand. We moved around the forehand. Now we're going to walk forward, and I'm going to show you a turn on the haunch. And again, I have uneven colored boots so you can see one foot crossing the other foot. We learned our pressure points and our jaw and neck line and our neck and shoulder line in the first video of how to push him over. We also know that Indy struggles for his left front to cross his right front. Good boy. That moment was turning through the middle where he got a little bit discombobulated, maybe a little stuck, and he still offered us something. So I'm not going to cream this horse because he was offering up something. He moved something and he balanced and he yielded. It just wasn't what I wanted. So I'm not going to have a fit. I'm going to almost probably ask him, hey, let's move around a little bit. Let's restart. Let's get a little bit more comfortable. Good boy. And then we'll start that again because I want him to feel like he can make a mistake and that he can still offer up suggestions. Hey, maybe I could do this for you, Mom or Aunt Karen, even though I'm not available yet. Now I do have my hand on his halter. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good. That's okay. And whoa. Now I went too far. I got a little greedy. And that's part of training. I felt like that horse was really having it, and I thought, let's push it a little bit. So I'm not going to worry or fret that he crossed under the last time because he stayed within a very small space, and he actually got a little bit more rapid speed or tempo there. So I'm going to heavily praise that. Even though it wasn't 100% what I want, I know that if I'm kind about his response, it'll be even easier next time to ask him to do it. But again, I don't want to overly drill on his hard side. So that was a turn on the haunch. I don't think he pivoted on that. I'm also not asking him to yet. So again, I have my hand just on the halter so I can guide his head a little bit. I am facing his neck. I am between his neck and his shoulder. I do feel like he's pivoting on this one though. Good boy. Good. That was a pivot on the left hind. So that's a pivot. It'll get you a 4 or lower immediately in dressage because in dressage we want to see those feet moving. So pivot turn, in dressage 4 or lower, pivoting, in hand, showmanship, Western, fantastic. I promised we would talk about lateral movements and then we kind of hung up on those, which was the turn on the forehand and turn on the haunch, pivot turn like active haunch turning. Thank you for demoing that for me, sweetheart. Um, once you have the ability to be able to what we call half halt, and some people really think a half halt is one specific thing. A half halt is a recheck or a rebalance on focus and or balance or both, right? So a half halt could be a pulse in the rain. A half halt can be me holding this halter for a second. A half halt could be me readjusting myself. A half halt can even be like a hey, whoa, right? So it's just kind of knowing when the balance is getting ready to be lost, or where I need you to pay attention. If you notice, I haven't half halted yet. He doesn't need to pay attention yet. So if I want to be able to take and side pass him, I'm not going to necessarily go full on the side pass yet, but I might say over, and I'm going to do his easier side first. And of course, he's going to back up, and I'm not going to fret. I'm going to stay with him, and I'm going to keep the pressure on him, but I am going to put him back on the frame of the camera. And I'm going to say over, over, over. And so he is backing up, so I'm asking him to go sideways a little bit more, a little bit more. And he's struggling with that, which is very common, which I appreciate. So now I'm going to turn the camera differently, and we're going to look down the long side. And now I have a barrier here, and he's standing on my assistant. Here we go. So I'm going to ask him to go straight towards the rail, and I'm going to say, hey, we were just able to move. I'm going to ask him to go straight to the rail. That's okay. And I'm going to let this happen because I want you to see, this horse knows how to do it. He's playing a little bit in the video. He's getting in my space. And I'm going to ask him to stop here at the rail. And I'm going to say, hey, can I get you to go over? And he's still crossing behind and backing up. And so I'm going to say, okay, we have several things going on here. We have that he's kind of rushing through and rushing forward. But I'm going to continue to stay where I am and continue to ask until I feel like it. Over, 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 good, whoa. Until I get what I ask for. Good boy. What was just happening? Well, he might have been burned out, might have been tired, might have been confused. Good, whoa. Good. Over, over, oh, over. I'm letting the barrier kind of halt him. I'm going to stay walking straight parallel to the barrier, whether he comes forward or back or not. Good boy. Good boy. And then whoa. And the minute I say whoa, I'm going to relax my eight. I'm going to stand in one space. I'm going to ask him to kind of line up. My hand is, again, just fairly short on the lead rope. I'm just going to ask his hind leg to move over. Good boy, whoa. I think the number one thing also that people forget, and I say there's a lot of number one things I talk about, is meaning whoa and saying whoa. I think a lot of people keep moving with the energy. I'm going to stay against this rail. Over, over, over. Good boy. Over, over, over. Whoa. And I released myself at the same time. What a good job. That was great. So with that exact same kind of movement, that's a side pass, meaning he's completely going sideways. Yes, I'm using the rail, but I'm also teaching this guy. I'm also teaching this guy how to move his body. A lot of people do forget about that. When I'm teaching, I'm also teaching him how to move his body, not where to move his body. And I think a lot of people think about where I want to put him and not how I want to get him there. And so I know, again, this is his sticky leg. I also know that he likes to kind of play a little bit when between eights, and I'm not going to take that away from this horse. This is part of this horse's personality. This is why his mom loves him so much. So if you notice, I don't take that away from him. I also only have a halter on him. He's not in show gear. He's not in hard gear. We will do all of these under saddle as well. There will be a Western saddle. Just want to go ahead and help you guys process that for if those of you all who don't want to do dressage in a Western saddle. That's what he has. That's what's fitted to him. And that's what we have available. So we do have a Western saddle that we'll use all this for. For the leg yield, again, all dressage movements we want to be done forward. He likes to play going backwards. Plus, he also is we've done a lot of backing today. So I'm going to walk forward and ask him to slowly take himself to the rail. Over. Over, 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 and then whoa, because he likes to rush. Good boy. That was a leg yield right. He leg yielded to the right. So the side pass is completely stable. The leg yield is forward and over in a rhythmic cross. What a lot of people, and I'll talk about a lot of under saddle issues when we do have under saddle, but that is the leg yield. Let's see if I can show you a few more. For all lateral, we should be doing lateral legs, meaning the opposite leg. So his right front has the purple escadron boot from Shady 5 Tack, and the left hind has the purple escadron boot. And left front has the sparkly black, right hind has the sparkly black. In theory, they should go in unison at a trot, and they should go in unison as we're crossing for your leg yields, your side pass, your shoulder in. So I'm going to try to demo, we're going to try our best to demo a shoulder in. Best to teach a shoulder in along a rail. A lot of riders who ride in a field without markers or barriers really think they have it and then miss the mark of the geometry in a dressage arena when they go to show. Because one, their horse is not used to being at a rail. Two, they are not used to being at a rail. And three, they are not actually going as sideways as they think. So I want his to be on 3 tracks. I want the right hind to be closer to the rail, the left front to be closer to me, and the purple legs to be almost on the same line towards the camera here. I'm going to ask him to kind of walk forward. My hand is going to half halt if I think he's walking towards me too much. And I'm just going to ask him to leg yield, to shoulder in. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of shocked we did that. And so that's going to be the end of that one. So I appreciate Indy's help. We have never done half of that on the ground before. And we literally pulled him out of his paddock so we could do this before his mom rides him. If you have any questions, there's tons more lateral, right? There's haunches in, there's renvers, travers, there's a ton more lateral that I don't even probably know about. But these are what are going to help you get to your half pass in dressage, which I can't show you mainly because we just don't have it together right now, and it's much easier with knowledge and ability. And right now he's just not there. But I do have others later. I'm happy to show you the half pass. This is stage 2. This is something that I think from stage 1 where we learned the pressure points, good boy, and learning how to also praise that. If you notice, I praised everything he did or tried to do throughout the whole video. It also is a really good marker to praise myself because, oh, we are getting it. Oh, we're getting somewhere. I hope that really helped you with your winter training, your winter work, your daylight savings time work, your young horse work, your he gets in my way work. And it also helps you visually with all of that lateral work. Again, one side's going to be stronger than the other, and please work with what you have. If he's not physically with you today, maybe we do something else. Maybe you can hand graze or work on braiding or take his mane down and wash it and rebraid it. As always, I'm Karen, Mindset Equestrian. If you like this video and want to watch more, please hit the like and subscribe button. And I think you can turn on notifications so that you know when the next video pops up. And again, we thank Ryan for letting us deal Indy today.